go ahead and get started. So for our second half of our forum here this evening, we have our two candidates for Lake County Prosecutor. We have Mr. Werner Barthol on my far left here, Democrat candidate for Lake County Prosecutor, and Charles Colson, Republican candidate for Lake County Prosecutor. Okay, so we're going to be using the same basic format that we've used earlier this evening and in prior forums. Mr. Barthol will lead off with a 3-minute introduction, followed by Mr. Colson with his 3-minute introduction. Then we'll have questions from our panel and opportunity for the audience to ask questions as well. And then we'll close with 2 minutes remarks from each candidate. Again, Mr. Barthol going first and Mr. Colson going second. So with that, we will have Mr. Barthol and his opening remarks.
Thank you, Chuck. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. It's exciting to see such a good turnout for the Tea Party. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my opinion of the Tea Party is, for me, it's a refreshing change in American politics. I've watched the political spectrum and watched politics since I was a kid. My dad had a keen interest in it, and it was just years and years of the same thing, which kind of leaves people disenchanted. When we watch every 4 years the campaign cycle with promises and promises being made, and immediately after the election all the promises are forgotten. So I can tell you I've watched these things for years since I was a kid, and it's the same rhetoric year after year, a decade after decade, and it let people become disillusioned. So it's exciting to see that that this has led to an awakening in terms of the Tea Party. If you look at the Tea Party standards, fiscal responsibility, limited government, and free markets, I don't think anybody can honestly say that either party at the national level, Republican or Democrat, firmly stand for all those principles. I think both parties, I have grave concerns about the direction that both of the parties are taking at the national level, both my party and the Republican Party. In terms of my background, I think people like to know a little bit about their candidates, to know where they come from. My parents were both immigrants. They immigrated to the United States after the Second World War. They loved this country. This country gave them a lot of opportunities. My mother worked at the Cleveland Twist Grill. She worked in a factory. She was a hard worker, never missed a day of work. And I don't know how many years, many years working there. She worked when she was sick, when she was healthy. She was dedicated to hard work and an incredible work ethic. My father as well. Both of them worked extremely hard. They met over here. They raised a family. We were born in Willowick. My parents initially lived in Cleveland when they immigrated here. They moved to Willowick in the 1960s. I was born in 1967 and lived in Willowick for the first few years of my life. My parents bought a tavern in Fairport. My dad was a chef. They ran the tavern for 30 years and retired approximately 10 years ago from working. They had placed a great emphasis on education. They wanted us all to go to college, all their children. We all did go to college and graduated. And they firmly believe in all the opportunities of this, and love this country and firmly believe in it. And this country has given them great opportunities. I'd like to see this country stay the way it was and continue to provide those opportunities for people. Unfortunately, it seems that the direction the country's taking in Washington isn't going in the proper directions. My career as an attorney has been 17 years. I've been practicing 17 years. I started in the Lake County Prosecutor's Office. I prosecuted hundreds of felony cases. Since then, I've had a private practice since 2003. And I look forward to practicing as a prosecutor again. I would ask that you elect me to that position. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Chuck Olson. I'm your Lake County Prosecuting Attorney. And I've been your prosecuting attorney in Lake County for 18 years now, almost 18 years. And there's a reason I've been a prosecutor for that long. In fact, actually, I've been prosecuting cases my entire career, since I first became a lawyer in Lake County. And I have a passion for being a prosecutor. Prosecutors are different than other lawyers. The Constitution of Ohio says that the Supreme Court of Ohio will govern all lawyers. The Supreme Court will write the rules and the regulations that all lawyers must follow, the procedures that they must use. And the Supreme Court of Ohio's written rules, they call it a Code of Professional Conduct, and they say all lawyers, except prosecutors. All lawyers must represent their client zealously, assert their client's interests, and try to have that client achieve whatever it is their goal might be. But he said, boy, but prosecutors are different. The rules written for prosecutors, that the Supreme Court says prosecutors are ministers of justice. Now that's a heavy burden, but it's a burden that prosecutors like to accept, because justice is seeking the truth, but it's more than that. It's finding the truth and then applying to each case, weighing it together, making sure that all similar cases are treated the same, making sure that the proper result is obtained. And it's a heavy burden, but it's a burden that gives us a sense of satisfaction. And that's why I've been a career prosecutor. That's why the prosecutor's office, which is a very visible office, the news media reports what we do daily. You can see our successes in the day. You can read it in the paper today. You'll read it in the paper tomorrow. So you know the success of the Lake County Prosecutor's Office. And I put together a team of very dedicated professional assistant prosecutors who have the same passion that I have for doing justice. I have a crime laboratory. We have the same, which is part of the prosecutor's office, who has the same drive to find the truth and to do justice. And that's just something, a sense of satisfaction that you can't get as a regular lawyer. It's why we're prosecutors, and it's why I like to say, as a prosecutor, we're always the person in the white hat. That is, we always try to do what's right. And we always try to do what's right in every case, every day. And that's why I'm a prosecutor, and that's why I'm running again for Lake County Prosecutor. Thank you.
This question is for both of you, of course, but it goes to Werner Barthol first. The County Commissioners a few years ago passed a resolution honoring the matriculate consulate card, which is a Mexican kind of an ID document mandating that it be honored as valid U.S. ID. Now this would prevent law enforcement, in particular the Sheriff's Department that is directly impacted with this, from checking the citizenship of people they encounter as a part of their law enforcement duties and taking what action should be taken if they are illegally present in the United States. So after that prologue, I would say, what do you think this is a problem, and what do you propose to do about it, or in the case of Mr. Colson, have you done about it? First to you, Werner.
Right, thanks for the question. I don't believe the commissioners have any business passing resolutions that tie any law enforcement agency's hands in terms of enforcing the laws of either the United States or the state of Ohio or local laws as well. We do have a huge problem, as everyone here is aware, with illegal immigration in this country. It's been going on so long that we now have multiple generations of, I mean, people are born here obviously legal due to the Constitution clause, but we have people who are being brought over here at 2-3 years of age, or now in their 20s, and living here with no citizenship. So this problem has been going on for an extremely long period of time. I'm disappointed in the federal government's lack of desire to secure our borders. I think it's a shame that we are involved in a lot of foreign conflicts that really don't appear to me to be accomplishing a whole lot without having secured our borders first. I think that should have been the #1 priority. We're here today commemorating September 11th. You have to remember all the people who caused that problem or contributed to that terrorist attack on this country were here legally with documents. We have to look at who we're allowing into this country. We need to tighten our immigration laws. I do believe that the immigration laws, in some sense, there could be some simplification of some of them. I'm familiar with the concerns of many employers. I've heard the plight of employers who are saying, that nurseries in particular, saying that they can't get employees if we don't allow foreign laborers to come in. I can't, that's a long discussion as to whether those are actually needed or not. Maybe there could be a simplified process, but the United States government should know who's coming in, when, and how often, and where they are at. Thank you.
Actually, Greg, I think you overstated the efficacy of what the commissioners did. It has not in any way affected law enforcement in being able to check a citizenship of any person.